What is up, guys? It's been a while since we've gone over this defensive scheme. We're going to be resuming it, and just as a heads up, this is kind of how it's going to go if we don't hit that like goal. So let's go ahead and just see if we can hit 20 likes on this one. So today I want to talk a little bit about the weakness of this 3-4 bear defense, and really this kind of covers any 3-4 and 7 blitz. So we're going to go into 3-4 bear, and we're going to be coming out as always in pinch bucko and audibling into the cover 3 just to give our opponents the same exact look. And we're going to be using the spread set. Now, I have the Patriots because Tom Brady has hot route master. He can put any kind of hot route out on the field. And so I'm going to show you guys some things you need to be aware of when you are running this. First off, we're going to get into the really basic, just simple route combo. So I'm going to go ahead and audible into cover 3 real fast, and we'll baseline like always. This, again, a baseline just gives you the same look. You can set this auto alignment to baseline just to really make your opponents confused. Now, a simple route combo that's going to be cover 3 every single time is this curl flat. There's no way on earth a cover 3 will guard this. If it is, you guys are, frankly, you're getting lucky that is happening for you, so don't rely on that. Let's just go ahead and snap this ball. We'll run it stock for now, and you can see right there, bam, hit this curl route on it. We can hit the flats on both sides. We can hit one of the two curls. Essentially, that's how you're going to be attacking in cover 3 the entire time. Now, you guys will be probably thinking, well, just shade it differently. Well, if you shade it differently, if you shade it underneath, again, same exact idea. I don't know why our center or our nose tackle isn't activating with his power move specialist right now. I think it's because of Brady's ability or whatever it is. But again, you can see right there, shaded underneath. The outside third still's not going to play it. So really basic route combo right there to just attack it. On top of that, if you guys are sending the heavy blitz, hitches, motion slants, curls, comebacks, all of those are going to beat that pinch bucko blitz. So be really careful and be super aware of that as well. So now that we got that out of the way, of course you can go ahead and quick adjust, and you can have a cloud flat with a hard flat. You can essentially double flat one side of the field, but with that there comes risks with it as well. So just keep all of that in mind. I just want to make you guys fully aware of weaknesses in this defense. On top of that, let's just go ahead and give you guys a look like this, or something like this. Dual streaks, you're gonna get killed up the seams. That's just how a cover 3 works. It's simple. That's how you beat a cover 3, and that's just how it's gonna be. You're gonna force the inside third to decide which streak he's gonna take, because he can't guard both of them, and he can only use one of them. So there's another weakness in this defense as well. Now, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about adjustments in a separate video, how you can prevent some of these things that will normally be a cover 3, and just go about doing that really quickly put with the seams and the curl flats by just shading underneath and changing into cover 2 shell with the outside corners into cloud flats. That's going to take care of that pretty easily. Again, keep it in mind almost every single time, if you are sending the house, you're going to be using this guide. Let me say it. Do not use Tyrann Matthew. He's a trash user. He's like 5'9" and just way too small and almost never animates. Just believe me on that one. So there's a few things that you guys have to be worried about. Now, in this particular cover 3, I'm going to go ahead and hop on to Chris Jones right here. The biggest thing about a 3-rec hook that I've noted is, I don't know if I'll be able to get this even with this hot route master, but if you have a deep post coming from the outside receiver, say B, let's see if we can recreate it. If you have a deep post coming across, and let's just say you have a backside slant and maybe a drag or something like this, then that's going to beat this 3-rec hook. This 3-rec hook will not play that post route. I don't know why, but even if you shade over top, it won't play that deep. And so this kind of post route, especially if they decide to motion in, is going to get over the top of that 3-rec hook and underneath the inside third. I'm going to go ahead and let's just go block my running back out route. Okay. As you guys can see, I'm not used to hot route master. And we'll motion this guy in, snap. I haven't really worked with this spread set all too much, but you can see right there, bam. If I got a better pass lead right there with the pass lead down, you guys can see there's a very small window to hit against this 3-rec hook. And so that's something you really have to be aware of. Again, this isn't the best spread set, but let's just give you guys an example. Let's do that one more time. We'll audible into cover 3 baseline to give them the same look. This time we'll go and shade over the top. Bam, bam, bam. Something like that with B on a post route. We'll motion him in, let him set his feet, and then we'll just snap the ball. Generally speaking, this post is going to get over the top. You can see right there, bam. Okay, we're just getting a really bad pass lead down into the outside. But hopefully you guys get the idea of how that 3-arc is working. Even with the shade over the top, it's not going to cover that deep. When we shade over the top with a 3-rec hook, we're talking like it'll play 10-yard routes. It'll play at the most maybe a 15-yard route. But anything really realistically past a 15-yard, it's not going to play. In fact, that's a weakness I would really say with the inside third, and something that they need to fix with how it plays aggressively with 20-yard post routes. They really just don't do much for that. So there's a few things you guys have to be aware of. Now, I said we're going to cover this in a separate video. I'm going to go really briefly about this and talking about changing this into a cover 2 shell. So remember, Tyrann Mathieu is still technically a safety. He may be in the box, but he's still a safety. And therefore, because he is a safety, he can be put into deep zones, including a deep half. So let's go ahead and change this into a cover 2 shell. If you guys are going to do something like this is what I recommend doing. Is first off, if you're changing it into a cover 2 shell, you're going to want to be sending the house. Against a spread set, my biggest suggestion is just soft squat both outside and then Y into deep half, A into deep half. And then, of course, if you guys don't have a fast safety, you definitely want to back this guy off and move this guy over. Do keep in mind that this is kind of a giveaway that, hey, I think he's now in a cover 2 shell. But at the same time, we're sending such an insane amount of pressure. You're kind of praying with the way that Madden 20 works that the blitz gets home before he makes an open read. So, of course, the post route's still going to get open. The soft squat's generally going to match a streak. They're going to at least match long enough to where the blitz should get through. If there's an out route, of course, they're going to come back down. So, as we were talking about with soft squats in a video way before this, there are some benefits to it. There are some drawbacks. Against a spread set, though, generally we're going to be going into a cover 3. Auto back into stock cover 3. And spread set, you can do two things. You can either use the 3-rec hook. What I like to do instead, though, against a spread is use one of these linebackers in a hook curl. And oftentimes I'll just do a simple shade underneath. Again, the shade underneath, often in spread, you'll see people just running a drag with a streak to clear out a deep zone. And it's just a really basic high-low read. Your primary responsibility is really just taking away that post. You can trust the 3-rec hook to play the drags fairly well and pass it off into the hard flat. And just watch out for any kind of deep developing route. Ultimately, against this, you've got to first worry about posts and streaks is your big concern in this situation because they can hit you in the seams, they can hit you over the top and under the deep zones. So quite a bit that you have to worry about in this particular defense against a spread set. Now, when I'm talking spread, I mean 2x2. You guys can see 2 wide receivers on each side. Remember, this is key. A 3-rec hook recognizes the strong side of the offense. In this case, in a spread set, 2x2 set, there's technically 3 wide receivers. In this situation, you have to include the running back as a wide receiver. If they were to send him on a route like this angle route or Texas route, whatever you guys want to call it, he's going to play that first. He'll play the running back first and then work his way back to the middle of the field. Same thing goes for a wheel route. So let's say he has a wheel route. First, he'll drop to the wheel route really quickly and again make his way back. So for example, if they did something like this, this is going to cause some serious havoc. So I'm going to go ahead. This is a shaded underneath cover 3. Hop onto this guy right here. We'll snap the ball. You can see that time he works his way down to the flats. I'm surprised. Usually, generally speaking, he'll work his way pretty quickly to the running back and then back to the middle of the field. In this case, it seems like he played the drag actually surprisingly well. I'm actually quite shocked. So let's go ahead and audible back into cover 3. This time we'll play it stock. I'm just going to do a simple baseline, get our safety in on the 3-rec hook, wheel route, drag, snap the ball. You can see that time he plays the running back really briefly. Of course, it's not for a tremendous amount of time, but I want to make a point here that he does come down and acts like he's going to play the running back, but eventually comes back to play the drag. Let's hop into instant replay and I'll show you guys exactly what's going on. So remember, strong side of the offense is over here. It's on the right side. It's not on the left because there's only 2 wide receivers over there. There's technically 3 on the right side, especially when the running back is running a route. We'll show you guys the difference when he doesn't run a route, but you can see right there, Bam, he does drop down to act like he's going to play the wheel route just for a brief second. But then he notices right here we've got a drag coming across the field. He drops back, plays the drag, passes it off to the hook curl, and back into the middle he goes. Now, of course, we've got this wheel route on the sideline you can probably hit, but that's going to be a pretty blind read. You can see right there, for the most part, this bagged up just that simple adjustment we made on offense. You got to keep in mind, I'm going to say this a few times throughout this video, the 3-rec hook, and this is how it's designed, is going to really struggle against high-low reads. When people start throwing a dig route, like for example, let's see if I can actually get this hot route master down. For example, let's say they put Y on a drag, X on a smart routed in route, and I don't know if we can motion snap this guy in, but we'll audible into a cover 3 and baseline. Again, get our safety in this 3-rec hook. Higher zone's going to be better. Let's see if I can motion him in. Probably will stop. Nope. Okay, so we'll do something like that. You can see right there. Simple high-low read. I didn't know you can motion snap on that side of the field. That was my bad. But that's going to be a way that they're going to attack a 3-rec hook. Now, of course, you guys might be thinking, well, you can user that. Yes. That is where you're going to have to start using either the high or the low. So let's go ahead and do that one more time now that I know what I'm doing a little bit in the spread set. So drag and smart routed in route. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this angle route. And we'll snap this ball. So right there, he plays underneath. Bam, we held it over the top. Now, of course, that was with a non-user. And if you were to shade over the top, it's going to play the dig route significantly better, but then also pretty much give up on the drag. So this is with the shader over top. Everything looks the same, though it's going to play slightly different. So same thing, Y on a drag, X on a smart routed in route, which is essentially a 10-yard dig route. Snap this ball. It's right there. He plays the drag a little bit better, and then he comes back and will play that dig route a little bit better in that situation as well. So while he will play the drag, it's not always going to be the case in this situation. With the shade over top, oftentimes you'll find that the 3-rec hook, especially if the dig is coming across sooner than later. Like for example, if we do something like this, we put Y on a 10-yard in route, X on a drag, and we'll do a motion snap. I'm going to get rid of this angle route real fast. We'll audible into cover 3. You'll see right here with the shade over top, he'll more than likely, he should play this dig route a little bit better. So we'll motion this guy in, snap, and right there, he plays underneath. And again, 3-rec hook, goes back over top to play over top. So in that situation, the shade over top is going to help you a lot in being able to play both routes. But do keep in mind, playing at stock, the 3-rec hook is going to struggle. And even still, it struggled to guard both of them. If we go into instant replay, you will notice there is a window where I can throw that 10-yard dig route. So let's go ahead and snap the ball. You can try right there, drag, wait for it right there, bam, open. It's a really small window, and honestly, with the pass lead straight up, you can fit it over the top of Tyrann Mathieu fairly easily. I'm surprised actually how well that hook curl passed it off. But of course, the hook curl, you can see right there, immediately just drops back. You can hit this drag pretty darn quickly. If you had a slant or a hitch, obviously that's going to be a very easy gain as well. But you guys can kind of see why this 3-rec hook is just a really good zone. I'm actually amazed how well it's able to play both this drag and this dig right now. Of course, this would be a good representation of a user. You got to understand that 3-rec hook's going to pick that up for you. You can pass it off. He passes it off, and onto the curl flat he goes. So this is a really bad route combo, but this is just to give you guys an idea of how a 3-rec hook is going to work against a high-low read. Again, remember with a 3-rec hook in pretty much any zone, a post is going to get over the top of most zones, depending on what kind of post it is, and underneath all deep zones, with the exception of a few extremely deep post routes ran across middle field. I'm talking like a 30-yard. It goes downfield like 25 yards and then just barely breaks to the inside. You guys have probably seen what I'm talking about. But there are some posts that don't work as well as others. For Hot Route Master, it's going to work pretty good. And you guys can see if we were able to get a good pass lead down, we're going to be able to fit it underneath the inside third and then over the top of that 3-yard hook defender. So there's quite a bit that you have to be aware of when you're running 3-4 bear cover 3 against a 2x2 set spread set, which also includes 5 wide. Personally, I don't recommend this defense unless you have a really good user. I don't recommend this defense against a spread set, including 5 wide, simply because there is so much that you as a user have to guard. It's just extremely stressful. And if you're not very good at using a linebacker or a safety and you're not comfortable with zones, this is going to be where it really struggles. And that's kind of in a spread set. I generally recommend more of a nickel package, big nickel included, or the big down 146, which I'm sure you guys have all seen at one point or another. Just a few recommendations I'm going to give you for that. So while you can run this 3-4 bear cover 3, you really got to practice it, and you really have to understand how all these zones work to be efficient at it. Again, keeping in mind with this, the places you're weak are the seams, the deep posts, like 20-yard post routes, and then on the sidelines as well when you're attacking cover 3 with just a simple curl flat on one side of the field. That's just going to absolutely torch it. Now, of course, you can go ahead and quick adjust. We showed you guys you can get quick adjust into a cover 2. You could do something like this even if we audible into a cover 3 baseline. Shade underneath, cloud flat, deep half, cloud flat. Of course, if you do that, you want to move this guy out, and then just use the middle of the field. Now, this is kind of a funky cover 2 because generally cover 2s, they don't have hook curls. They actually never do unless you hot route a cover 3 into a cover 2. So just kind of keep that in mind. The biggest suggestion also with this, now the reason Chris Jones I'm pretty sure is not working is because Brady has protected pocket. I don't know the exact terms behind it. It just prevents him from getting a quick shed. So that's why Chris Jones isn't working as well in this situation. So just be really careful about this. Of course, if they're hitting you up the seams, you can go ahead and put X into a vertical hook, vert hook, whatever you guys want to call it, and then maybe send 4, put yourself into mid read, or just watch middle of the field. And now you've successfully converted it from a cover 3 to a cover 2. Of course, with some quick adjustments, you guys are going to be able to get this down fairly quickly. If you don't really know quick adjustments, I really suggest checking out Meister Madden right now. We've actually extended the sale. It's going to end today though, and it's going to be able to teach you guys some quick adjustments, understanding the basic zones, how they work. So then you know when you're in practice mode, hey, I can pass this off with this shading. I have to take this away with that shading, and all this other just basic stuff that all Madden players, if you want to take any sort of competitiveness whatsoever to it, you need to understand how the basic zones work. Now, of course, if you guys have played football before, preferably college level, I would kind of expect you to maybe understand how zones work a little bit better. High school, you probably have a good idea, but ultimately the zones are going to play different than what they would in real life. So again, that's why I kind of recommend checking out the beginner's defensive guide to give you guys a rundown of how they work in Madden. Remember, this is Madden, this is not the NFL. So with that being said, again, if we can hit 20 likes, these videos are a little more, I guess you could say in-depth and hands-on kind of stuff. But let's go ahead and see if we can hit 20 likes. Otherwise, it's going to be a couple more days. I've already got a lot of stuff coming out for you guys here in February especially. Be on the lookout for it. There is tons, and I mean tons of new stuff coming out for you guys in February. So this has been Team Meister. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And yeah, I mean, always get in the lab, get into practice mode, online, whatever you guys got to do. Play a friend, play the CPU. Just do it. Take a couple hours out of your day, and you will see a drastic difference within just one day, even from understanding the game.